This is 5 Minute Power Platform, where I'm doing short experiments in dynamics, flow, power apps, and more. Today we're going to build a power app that will do a barcode scan of a book, and then it will look that up in the Google Books API, pull back a thumbnail and title and such, and also let the user click a link to open that book up in Amazon. So we're going to start with a blank phone size app. And once it loads up here, we're going to add in a barcode control, and then a place for the ISBN, the unique ID for the book. So here's the barcode control. Let's pop that on there and we'll stretch it out. We'll add in a label. Label's where our ISBN is going to go, the book number. And then we'll add on a text box next. And with the text box or the text input control, that's where the user can input, or the barcode scanner will put the ISBN number. We're going to remove the default text, set the hint text so that the user knows what to do with that box. And then let's rename these controls to clean up a little bit. So we're going to select the text control for the ISBN, and we're going to set that to the barcode controls text property. That's the actual value returned for the barcode reader. And also on the barcode control, we're going to set the barcode type to EAN. I always thought they were UPCs, but apparently on books, they're EANs. So quick text test, looks like it worked. And so now we're going to add on a button that we can use to start the flow. We'll call this lookup. We'll give it a sensible name, and then we'll click on the action tab to go into flow. So first, a little bit about the Google Books API, and a call to the Books API is going to look like this long URL here, and that's from the API reference, which I've got at the bottom of the slide and also in the notes for this video. Now, if you call that API directly, just put it in your browser, you're going to get a screen that looks like this. That's the actual JSON results, and that's what we want to get into Flow and into PowerApps so that we can display the book title and book thumbnail. So if you've never worked with a request like this, you'll see that this long URL, everything from the question mark and beyond is called the query string. And there's some things separated by ampersands, and those are the different parameters that we're going to be using in Flow to configure this API call. In fact, if we put those on their own lines and spread them out a little bit, you can see them separated easily, and this is what we're going to set up in our Flow HTTP request. So if you've never created an API key from Google before, here in the documentation, which I've got linked in this YouTube video, you click the credentials page link, you'll log in using your Google account, and then you'll fill in the form for the credentials here. It's going to ask you to create a new project, so you fill in the terms of service, fill in all the blanks, and then give your project a name. I'm going to call mine UPC Scanner, create the project, and then once you've got that, then you can request the API key. So I click create credentials, API key, and then your API key will display on the screen. Save that value. You're going to need it for the rest of this exercise. Now returning back to our flow where we left it, so we're going to start by initializing a new variable. This is going to be the API key. We're going to create this as a variable so it's easy to change if we need to in the future. So we'll give it the name API key. It's going to be a string, and then we'll paste in the value that Google just gave us. And then we're going to create a second variable, and this is going to be the ISBN number passed in from PowerApps. And so we'll initialize a new variable. We're going to call it ISBN. Also a string. And we'll say ask in PowerApps. And then finally, we're going to set up our HTTP call into Google. So this is going to be the Google API we were just looking at. It's a GET request. Put in the URL, the base URL, everything before that question mark. And then we put in our parameters. Those are the things laid out at the bottom of the slide. So the first thing is the key, and that's going to be our variable that we set up. Next is the query, Q. We're going to use ISBN : so that Google knows we're passing in an ISBN variable. And then the projection light, that just says, bare bones data versus full, which is the most data returned from Google. We want one results returned, and our country, US. That's where I am. And then finally, we'll return our response. And so that's just going to be the body returned from the HTTP call. Now we need to set up our JSON schema. And so to do that, we'll just call this. We'll get a sample response. We use that as a sample payload. It's going to come up with a schema for us. We'll rename this to something that makes sense. Google Books from ISBN, and we'll save it. And now we're ready to hook it up to our PowerApps button. So back in PowerApps, hook up our lookup button to an action. There's our Google Books from ISBN. Once that gets added there, we feed in the text input box, text barcode, and that's going to be the barcode that we're scanning. We'll give this a shot here. Found a barcode. Looks like flow is running. Let's go check our flow results. We have a successful run. Looks like all those green check marks. Looks good. We got some results and a response. And so now we can go back and we can set a variable that we can set that to. And so let's get the response to. So we'll do set, we'll call it book results, and we'll put the response in there. So let's test it again, but let's make sure that we've got the results going into the book results variable that we just created. Looks good in flow. Go into view variables. We see in our book result, we've got some values there. And it looks like there's an items collection, and then we could drill down into volume info, and we get the data we need. So let's just set our variable at that level. So we're going to say the first out of the items collection, and there should only be one because we set max results equal to 1, and we want our volume info. Now let's run this again, and let's see if our variable looks like it's scoped the way we want it to. So now we dig into this book result variable again. Looks like we're getting right at the title of the description and everything we want. So now we're ready to create a second screen to show the results. So we'll create a second screen here. We'll name it screen results. We're going to add in a text box for the title, format it like it should be a title, do a bigger font, maybe some bold, make it a little bigger in case we get a long title. And then we're going to add in an image. This will be our thumbnail and another label for the book's description. Once we've got these laid out, we'll rename our controls so they make a little more sense. And then we can start hooking up our data after this. So let's hook up the title here. So for the text property, we'll go to our book results variable and we'll give it the title property. For our thumbnail image, we'll do the same thing, book results, and then we'll go into the images and choose the thumbnail image. Looks good. And then for our description one, the text property will be book results.description. And this looks like it's centering. Let's set it to scroll so that if it's long, the user can scroll down. Now, before we can use this, we need to set our button to navigate to the screen. So let's add another command in with the button. We'll say navigate. We're going to go to the results screen, and we'll pick a type of visual effect there. And now let's give this a shot. So now when I scan my barcode again, get the barcode, I click look up. Here comes the book, and looks like it navigated properly. So now we can add in some back navigation and our Amazon link. So let's pull an icon to go back. There's a back icon. We'll put a label next to it as well. So we'll call the label scan another. And then we'll put an image on, and that'll be our Amazon icon. So let's drop that on there. And we'll put a label by that for view on Amazon. Let's set the Amazon icon. And then what we'll do is group both of these. I'm just using Control-G to create groups. And that way, if someone clicks on the button or the label, we can make the action happen. So the groups on select for this first one will navigate us back to the first screen. So screen scan, we'll choose a visualization. And then for this one, we're going to use the launch command to put in a Amazon link. So we can put in this Amazon link and add in the ISBN, and that'll pull us up to the books page on Amazon. So if I click this, it should pull us up our Amazon page. Looks good. And if I click back, it takes me back to the front. So now we've got a fully working app. We can save and give it a name. We'll call it Librarian's Helper. Although let's be honest, librarians probably have more sophisticated tools than this. And now let's test it out on the phone. So here on the phone, do a refresh. There's Librarian's Helper. Pull it up. Let it use the camera. And let's see. Let's grab a book here. Scan it. Do a lookup. Looks good. And we can view it on Amazon. There it is. So we go back, click back, scan another book. Here's another one. And it looks like everything is working. Now there's another barcode feature worth checking out. It's here in the advanced settings, enable scan barcode function, and that's going to invoke the device's native barcode scanning capability. So let's put on an icon to trigger this. So let's move those down there, and then we'll set the on select for this icon to be the same function as the button, but we'll replace the ISBN text box value with the scan barcode function. And that's going to invoke the barcode scanner on the device. And so let's save this and publish it and check it out on our phone. So on our phone, we'll refresh it, we'll open up the app, and then we'll click the little expando icon. It's going to open up this different screen for scanning the barcode. It's going to scan it. It makes a very satisfying beep and gets us the same result. So it's another way of using the barcode scanner. So this has been a quick overview of using the barcode scanner in PowerApps and also using that to drive data from the Google Books API as well as open up a link to an external site.